What is America's Chabahar Port move? A new strategic signal for India? Just imagine. What if a decision appears to be a simple foreign policy move, but hidden behind it is one of the world's biggest strategic gambits? Would you recognize it? Recently, the United States has made just such a move. It has granted India a 6-month sanctions waiver to continue its operations at Iran's Chabahar port. On the surface, this may sound like a one-line piece of news, but the story and intention behind it run as deep as the waters of the Arabian Sea. Because this isn't merely about a port, it's about a geopolitical golden gate that could reshape Asia's balance of power in the coming years. India's Ministry of External Affairs has called the decision a relief. But if you look closely, it's much more than that. It's a signal. A signal that America now sees India not just as a trading partner, but as a strategic pivot. This is the same United States that, only a few years ago, had imposed strict economic sanctions on any dealings with Iran. And now the same country is granting India an exemption so it can continue operations at Chabahar port. The question arises, why? The truth is, Chabahar port is no ordinary port. It stands as a living symbol of India's strategic autonomy. It is the gateway that allows India to bypass Pakistan and directly access Afghanistan and Central Asia. That's why it's often called the Golden Gate of Central Asia. Its history is equally fascinating. Since the 1970s, it has been part of India's geopolitical dream. During Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's tenure in 2001, work on this project began for the first time. But US sanctions on Iran and instability in West Asia pushed it into cold storage. Then in 2016, Prime Minister Narendra Modi revived it once again. And now, in 2024, India and Iran have signed a 10-year agreement granting India Ports Global Limited, IPGL, the rights to operate the port. Meanwhile, the global political climate is shifting rapidly. China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, is expanding its influence from Gwadar port to Africa. Pakistan is a key component of that BRI. And this is precisely where Chabahar serves as a counterbalance for India. The port not only counters the China-Pakistan axis, but also provides India with an alternative route, a trade corridor that lies under neither Beijing's influence nor Washington's control. America's move is also significant because it comes at a time when Washington and New Delhi are on the verge of finalizing a new trade deal. Inside the White House, discussions are in full swing about creating a new tariff framework with India that could economically strengthen both nations. The political timing of this development makes it clear that the Chabahar waiver is not merely a temporary relief, it is a strategic gesture. The US wants to signal that it supports India's regional connectivity vision because it has now realized that to counter China's growing dominance, a power like India is essential. In fact, the waiver was set to expire on October 28, but upon India's request, it was extended for another 6 months. India made it clear that if operations at the port stopped, its trade connectivity with Afghanistan and Central Asia would be severely disrupted. A loss not only for India, but for the entire region. The US accepted this argument, and that was the moment when India, with one smart move, flipped the entire geopolitical chessboard. Because Chabahar is not just a port, it's a crucial link in the INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, which connects India to Russia, Europe, and Central Asia. Now, the question arises, what's in it for America? The answer lies in strategic balance. The biggest challenge for the US today is China's growing influence, especially in the region once referred to as the energy crossroads. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, China is investing heavily in Iran, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. In such a scenario, the US doesn't want the entire West Asian region to fall under China's sway. Hence, it has decided to use India as a geopolitical bridge, allowing India's presence in the region to safeguard American interests but without directly operating under Washington's flag. Instead, India would act as an independent and trusted partner. The second dimension of this strategy is even more intriguing. The US knows that India doesn't possess China's kind of military expansionism. But what India does have is soft power, democracy, trust, and a model of economic development. That's why America's new strategy now sees India as a trusted operator. The US doesn't want direct confrontation with Iran, but it also understands that as long as India remains active in Chabahar, that region will not come entirely under China's control. An even more interesting twist came when President Donald Trump, during the APEC summit in South Korea, stated, "I will soon sign a major trade deal with India, and my personal respect and relationship with Prime Minister Modi are very strong." On the surface, this may sound like a routine diplomatic remark, but the message hidden within it is much deeper. Trump no longer views India merely as a part of Asia, but as Asia's gateway partner. For India, this means that in the coming years it will have to maintain a delicate balance. On one side are old partners like Iran and Russia, and on the other are new allies like the United States and Europe. And this very balance makes India a multi-aligned power. That is the real strength of the Golden Gate strategy, to move forward with everyone, but remain subordinate to none. The economic importance of the Chabahar port is also growing rapidly. Indian ships are now sending goods directly from here to Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. Estimates suggest that in the next 5 years, trade between India and Central Asia through this port could increase by up to 10 times. At the same time, Russia too views this port as an alternative trade route, especially now that Western nations have imposed heavy sanctions on Moscow. In that sense, America's decision to grant a waiver to India not only benefits India, but also indirectly gives breathing space to Russia and Iran. This is that very multi-layered diplomacy where every country is pursuing its own interests quietly, without making noise. India has played this game silently, convincing the United States that its intention is purely commercial, while in reality, it is a major step toward enhancing India's strategic depth. But there is another dimension to this story within India itself. Indian companies are now rapidly investing in projects linked to the Chabahar port. Ports in Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Kerala will soon be directly connected to Chabahar. This will strengthen India's coastal trade network and also serve as a big boost to the Make in India mission. At the same time, cooperation between the US and India in technology, defense, and energy sectors is also increasing. Some experts believe that this waiver is not merely a part of port diplomacy, but a preparatory step toward a much larger agreement, one in which the United States aims to position India as a strategic counterweight in the Indo-Pacific region. The most important takeaway from all these developments is that India is no longer practicing reactive diplomacy. It has shifted to proactive diplomacy. Earlier, India used to protect its interests. Now it is expanding them. And even countries like the United States have begun to recognize this transformation. That's why the Chabahar waiver has come to be known as the Golden Gate strategy. Because it doesn't just open a path for trade, it opens a new gateway for geopolitics.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.